Hi there! I did not expect that you would join this class. I mean, I did expect you would join this class because it is the most amazing Adobe After Effects class in the universe.
Chả biết ông là ai cả.
Welcome, apprentice. Welcome to this class. All right, let's just dive straight into it. Yeah, I didn't really prepare for this class. I'm sorry. But that's okay. I've got years of experience. I've been a professor in After Effects for 200 years now? So yeah, I think it'll go pretty well. This right here was Janik. He was my previous apprentice. I'm gonna hang him right here to the wall because I do think that he deserves a special spot in my laboratory. And you know what, guys? If you can do better than him, then you are going to get on that wall and I'm gonna rip him off. All right, Photoshop, let's do this. I mean, After Effects. As a professor, I constantly forget things, so if I'm forgetting something, just let me know, guys. There's a discussion within this class. If you just have any sort of question, just let me know in there, and I'd be happy to help you further. Let's start with the first lesson, which is an introduction towards Adobe After Effects. I'm going to assume that you know how to open up After Effects, and if you do so, the first thing that you're probably going to see is this welcome screen. And there are a couple of things that we can do from here. We can start a recent project, and it seems that I did prepare this class. Look at that, lesson 12, 10, 11, they're all in here. It was like 5 hours ago, 6 hours. Oh man, my mind is such a mess. Anyways, you can start a new project from here as well. If you click on the new project button, which we are gonna do, or you can open up an existing one, which is somewhere stored on your hard drive, obviously. So let's just click on New Project, and that will just get rid of that welcome screen, and now you're inside Adobe After Effects. The very first thing that I would always recommend to do is to save your project. Unlike with Adobe Premiere Pro, which you might be familiar with already, Adobe After Effects does not need to be saved up front. So it's good to do quick things in here without saving your project, but if you are working on something serious, then just go ahead and save that thing. The short key for that is just Control-S, like with any other program. You can also go up to the menu, say Save, and of course, choose here, Save As, and click on that. It's going to open up your Explorer. If you are working on a Mac, it's going to open up your Finder. Either way, you want to name your project something. Let's call this Lesson Number 1 because this is the very first lesson. There we go, and then just save that. So Adobe After Effects consists out of these multiple windows. We have the project window up here, and in this project, we are going to gather everything that we're going to work with. So these are going to be your media files. You know what, let's just start by importing something in here. And there are various ways to do that. You can go up to the menu, select File, and from there, select Import Files. But an easier way to do it is also just by double-clicking in this project panel, which will also open up your Explorer. And I've got a folder in here called Footage. Now guys, all the stuff that we're going to work with in this class can also be downloaded if you search for the Your Project tab here on Skillshare. And from there, you'll see a download button from which you can download all the project files, but also all the video assets. So let's just open up this folder and let's see what we have in here. I've actually shot this landscape. I'm going to select that. You can also select multiple clips, obviously. Let's just start with the first one and then hit Import, and that will import that into the project panel or the project window. Now, every good professor in the visual effects industry is organized. Something very important, make sure that you are organized. And by that I mean create folders. Within the project panel, you'll see here on the bottom that we can create a new bin or a new folder. Click on that to create a new one and give that a name, for example, video files or video clips, doesn't really matter. Look for a structure that you like and that is organized to you. Right in there, I'm going to drag my landscape video file into it. And if we expand that folder, you can see the landscape video clip in there. Right now, we're just working with one video clip, but throughout this course, you will see that we're going to work with multiple of these clips, multiple video files, audio files, pictures, etc. We're also going to create multiple compositions, which is going to be clear later on in this course what that is. But then it's really going to be important that we are organized within this project window.
Nhắm mắt, anh lại bực bội. Không phải do anh hôi mà vì em đệt thối. Thức lâu ngày không ỉa, nó còn đọng trên môi. Mỗi lần em rặn ỉa, em lại kêu tên tôi. Anh yêu ơi!
Next to that project window, you can see the composition window. This is the panel where we are going to see what we are creating inside After Effects. But we don't see anything yet, and that is because we haven't created a composition yet. So we can click in here to say New Composition or New Composition from Footage. Let's just start by clicking on New Composition, which is the same action as clicking on this little button down below here, which also says Create a New Composition. After Effects is going to ask you, all right, I want to create a composition for you, but what should be the settings of this composition? And these settings are, for example, the resolution. You could shoot in a 4K resolution if you like so, but maybe you want to create only a full HD composition inside After Effects. That's perfectly possible. Or maybe you want to change the frame rate of your shot to something else, maybe to 24 frames per second. Maybe that is your desired output, so it doesn't always have to be the exact same thing as you were shooting in. Of course, usually it is going to be that. So if you're unsure of what to do in here and you're not sure yet what the output is going to be, then maybe it's best to just create a composition that is exactly the same as the settings that you shot your clips in. In other words, the camera settings. So I'm just going to press cancel here for now. And what I'm going to do is take my landscape clip right here and just drag that into that composition button right here. And by doing so, After Effects will automatically create a composition with the exact same settings of my clip. And you can see it now here in my project panel that a new item, which is the composition, have been added to it. Now it currently sits within my video clips folder, and that's something that I don't like. So the first thing I'm going to do is just drag that composition out of it, and maybe in the future I'm going to create a new folder called Compositions if I'm going to create multiple of these. But for now it's okay. This is my first composition. If I want to change that by name, I just hit the return key on my keyboard and name that, for example, Lesson 1. And right away now you can see that we have a visual in the composition panel right here. If you scroll your mouse, you can kind of like zoom in and out into that clip. And then down below here, we have the timeline. And we've got one clip in there, which is the landscape clip. If I'm going to press play, which is just the space bar onto my keyboard, that clip will play. Nothing much is happening because this is a pretty static shot, but it will play the stuff in your timeline and show it to you in the compositions panel. And this really works exactly the same as in Adobe Premiere Pro, or maybe you're working in something like DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro. This all works kind of similar. Now, these aren't the only 3 windows within After Effects. Each window gives you a different functionality, a different purpose. For example, here on the right, you've got Effects and Presets. And this right here is your Effects and Presets library. If you need to create a certain visual effect or something, most likely you want to jump in here and search for that specific effect that you're going to need and then drag that over to your composition. Of course, we're going to dive into this way deeper throughout this course. Other interesting windows are, for example, the character window. From here, we can change stuff from our text, change the font, change the font size and everything. We also have the tracker window, which is going to be something super important. The tracker is a piece of software that is probably used the most often inside Adobe After Effects. And then last but not least is here on top our toolbar. From here, we've got multiple tools like the arrow, which we have right now, but also things like the mask tool, the pen tool, or the text tool, or the clone stamp, etc. Different tools to help us shape our video the way that we want to. Now, let's be real here. You are an apprentice, so probably you're going to mess things up. I'm sorry to say that. For example, you might want to go into your timeline on the bottom, but accidentally you clicked here on this close button, and poof! Your timeline is gone. No worries, Adobe After Effects is apprentice-proof. If you go up to the menu here on top and select a window, you can find all the different windows or panels listed down below. So if you would close your timeline, you can always recall that again by going all the way down here and click on Timeline. And there we go, it's back there. So maybe you are searching for a specific window in the future, but you can't find it. You can always go up here in the menu, select Window, and choose anything you need from here. But I hear you saying, Professor, I not only closed one of those windows, but I also messed up my windows. What can I do now?
Mày bị điên à?
Well, that's possible, you know. You can take one of these windows and you can drag them to different positions, like so. Now my project panel sits on the right instead of on the left. Or my timeline, I accidentally dragged it all the way up here on top. What's happening? My workspace is a mess right now. Well, again, it's apprentice-proof, no worries. You can always go back up to that window menu here, go to Workspace. That's this thing that we're seeing right here. Currently, my default workspace is selected. Go all the way down and select Reset Default to Saved Layout. Bang! We're all good. So that was it for this very first introduction lesson. These are the general windows inside After Effects that we are going to work with. In the next lesson, we are going to dive deeper into the world of the timeline. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.